Good morning, everyone. I hope you are fine. Our lecture today is in continuation with the previous lecture about study questions and great expectations by Charles Dickens. In the previous lecture, we went through three important points in great expectations, and we discussed the first point, that is Bib as a narrator and as a character. For today, I will explain the second point, that is social class. Well, questions 2 for social class and great expectations. What role does social class play in great expectations? What lessons does Bib learn from his experience as a wealthy gentleman? And how is the theme of social class central to the novel? What is the answer of these questions? See the next slides. Well, to answer these questions, we need to know that in Great Expectations, one way to see Bip's development and the development of many of the other characters is an attempt to learn to value other human beings. For example, Bip must learn how to value Joe and Margaret. On the other hand, Stella must learn how to value Bib, and so on. So the important question here is that how do people in great expectations value each other? On what basis? And what does social class have to do with such valuation? So, what role does social class play in great expectations? See the next diagram. The role of social class in great expectations. Actually, throughout the novel, social class provides an arbitrary external standard of value by which the characters, particularly Bib, judge one another. So, the basis by which people in great expectations judge or value each other is social class. Although social class is considered to be as an arbitrary external standard of value. And because social class is rigid and pre-existing, it becomes an attractive standard for every character who lacks a clear conscience with which to make judgments. For instance, Mrs. Joe, Bib's sister, being left alone with a helpless infant brother after burying two parents and five brothers, Mrs. Joe becomes an abusive and self-important character. And because of all the loss in her life early on, she seeks security in order to survive. However, she seeks it through power and wealth, and she unconsciously communicates these values to her brother Bib. On the other hand, we have the character Pumblechook, Joe's pompous and self-important uncle, also values people according to their social class. He arranges for Bib to visit Miss Havisham's house, and he arrogantly assumes himself to be the reason for Bib's good fortune. So both Mrs. Joe and Pumblechook value people according to their social class. Both of them seek security through power and wealth. and they transform these values to Bib. And because high social class is associated with romantic qualities such as luxury and education, it becomes an immediately attractive standard of value for Bib himself. Yet the question is, what lessons does Bib learn from his experience as a wealthy gentleman? That is to say, when he becomes a gentleman. See the next diagrams. Bib as a wealthy gentleman. After he is elevated to the status of gentleman, though, Bib begins to see social class for what is it. So he sees it as an unjust, capricious standard that is largely incompatible with his own morals. For Bib, there is simply no reason why pimply drama should be valued above Joe, as we explained before. So after being a gentleman, Bib becomes aware that social class is actually an unjust and capricious standard that is incompatible with his own morals. He learns that social class is not the right standard by which we should judge people. So, the most important lesson Bib learns in the novel, and perhaps the most important theme in Great Expectations, is that no external standard of value can replace the judgments of one's own conscience. As a matter of fact, in Great Expectations, characters such as Joe and Betty know this instinctively. For Bib, it is a long, hard lesson, the learning of which makes up much of the book. So, the lesson Bib learns in the novel is that no external standard of value can replace the judgment of one's own conscience. In conclusion, all of these explanations show how the theme of social class is central to the novel. So, in other words, the theme of social class was the fertile ground that Dickens used in order to both develop his characters and to show his moral lesson about the real value by which people should be judged in Great Expectations. That is conscience. That was the end of our lecture today. The reference is Spark Notes. Next lecture, I will discuss the role of guilt in Great Expectations. Thank you very much for your time and good luck.